Channel6.ca, supported by.
Get ready for a renovation sale at Bellner Leisure Products. As we work to expand our service bays and offer you even more services, we want to get you in on our great sale of fifth wheels and trailers. Bellner Leisure Products, the RV store in the corner with a fountain, Red Deer. Stephen Kozelenko says he has a bone to pick with the city's snow removal program.
You know, one big thing is it's nice that they have this program now for snow removal, but so far, to me, it hasn't worked any better than past years.
The biggest problem is timing and the confusion from the signs.
Well, it's all time frame. You want to be helpful. You want to get your vehicle off the street for them. I don't want my vehicle towed. I don't want the fine. I want to assist the public works crews. But they have bylaws, and they give you 12 hours notice, and sometimes it's 72 hours later when the snow's removed. And I know they're busy, and I know the recent storm, it puts problems with it. But put out the signs and have it. Within 12 hours, your snow's clear.
Public Works Manager Greg Sikora says his crews are working diligently to make sure they meet their timelines with the signs.
What we really do appreciate is the community's participation in the program, and that participation is, in order for us to complete our programs in time-sensitive manner, we need the community to help us by removing their vehicles. Understandably, it's difficult to get things done with big heavy-duty pieces of equipment while navigating between parked cars. If we get the cars off the streets, we get done that much quicker, and then we meet our performance objective of the 15 days for the greens and grays.
The City of Red Deer understands Stephen's concerns, and many others for that matter, and they're doing their part to try to better communicate what the snow removal program is all about.
We welcome people to come online, take a look at our website. It's at reddeer.ca/snow zone, and you can see exactly where we are, what our projected timelines are, and you can plug in. And the best thing is that you could sign up for an email notice, and it'll tell you exactly when we're coming through. It'll give you the heads-up notice to remove your vehicle off the road, and then we'll get things done quickly.
You put out an email, which now they have, within so many hours, put out the signs, and when the signs go out, I know, okay, they're out at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, next morning it's going to be done. This time they did that, but the email went out 11 hours late. So I didn't know what day. I expected it was going to be 3 days later that they did it.
So let's get back to basics and get you informed on what's what. First of all, let's talk about the routes.
There's several different colored routes. There's the purple routes, red routes, and green routes. So purple are hills and bridges, high collision intersections. Red routes are the arterials, the major roads, the Gates Avenue, 67th Street, the big commuter roads. Green routes are the residential routes that run through, which are typically bus routes. So they're higher volume, and the gray routes, which are basically residential streets in the area. We used to call them by their engineering terminology, but local, arterial, collector, but not everybody typically knew what that meant. So we said, let's figure something out that is more universal, and we said let's define them by a color and communicate by colored routes, essentially.
The city also adds it wants to clear up the signage confusion. When it comes to green routes, which are the main roadways going through neighborhoods that also have a bus lane, you'll find little red signs saying no parking, because crews are scraping the roads bare. So if you're found parked there, you will be ticketed and towed to a safe area.
The last thing we want to do is give someone a ticket, but what we need to be able to do is get things done quickly, and so it is a change. It's a combined program. It's about the community being a part of the process, and if we get that done, then we'll be done quickly.
As for the gray routes, these are the roads in your neighborhoods that do not have a bus lane going through it. There will be no more red signage. There will be one big sign in front of the entrance of your neighborhood.
What we have done is we put large entrance signs on, and sometimes there's a bit of maybe a bit of confusion with respect to that, because the signs are there on an entrance road that are defining that the gray routes are proceeding, and they're not necessarily on the road that's getting plowed. So that's where we need the public to be mindful that the snow removal that we do on those roads is different than collector roads or the green routes. Is that what we do is we do a flat blading program, and basically what that does is resurface resurfaces the roads, it moves the snow off, and it builds dual windrows on either side of the roadway.
And if you're parked on that street, when they're coming through, expect a windrow around your vehicle.
This whole program really works well if the cars are off the streets. The windrows are nice and neat, they're tidy, they're clean, they're straight, but if you have cars on the streets, what we do is we plow around them, we don't tow them, and then the owner has to dig themselves out. But in addition to that, now you've got a windrow that's placed in a portion of the middle of the street, and it becomes a bit of an obstacle, and unfortunately that's what will result.
The biggest change this year from last is the city now has bulldozers free of charge, clearing windrows in front of your driveways.
Directed by council is to open up the driveways for front driveways on residential streets or grey roads. We will be opening up those driveways, so you'll see shortly bobcats coming around, skid steers, removing the windrows and placing the balance of that snow back on the road adjacent or on the windrow that exists. The downside to that is that we have to manage the snow somehow, so the snow goes back on the remaining windrows, which makes the windrows a little larger.
Other concerns that Channel 6 has heard from residents and motorists is the ruts. Why do we wait so long to remove them?
Horrible this year because we haven't had enough snowpack, they say. That's another thing. With the bus route, we get big ruts here, so you can't even pull off. If you don't have four-wheel drive, you can't pull off the street into the parking stall.
What council's focused on is transportation and mobility through the neighborhoods and providing that mobility in a timely fashion. So the green routes and the grey routes are triggered on a 10-centimeter snowpack, and that's a quicker trigger so we can get into those neighborhoods sooner.
Another question asked, why is it taking so long? Can it go faster?
We are making it faster. In the past, the residential program or the grey route program was done once a year, and it took anywhere from 45 to 60 days to complete. And council and the community said that's just not responsive enough. So after a lot of stakeholder discussions, what we ended up council defining is basically the priority is to go quicker, sooner, and more often. And so that's reducing the triggers from a discretionary element to a defined 10-centimeter snowpack so that we could proceed much quicker.
Does the city of Red Deer need to buy more equipment to make this process go faster? So let's compare the city of Grand Prairie, population 70,000, to the city of Red Deer, population 100,000. In Grand Prairie, they have 6th graders. Here in Red Deer, we also have 6th graders. In Grand Prairie, they have 5 sanders and plow trucks. Here in Red Deer, we have 17. In Red Deer, we have 3 blowers. In Grand Prairie, they have 2. We also own 12 skid steers, and we also contract out any other pieces of equipment needed.
Well, we're always monitoring that, and it doesn't mean that we necessarily need more equipment. It's how do we use that equipment more effectively, and what's the best time to use that equipment. You know, there's many different strategies, hired equipment as well as deploying multiple shifts. So equipment is only one factor in the big picture. We're continually reviewing and revamping. We bring in hired equipment when you need additional force to meet our mandate objective, which is the performance targets. We report back to council on those performances, and we adjust accordingly.